If you're hearing this, it means I'm no longer here. Not just gone the way people say when someone passes. I mean, really gone. No coming back. No redo. No chance for another day. And the thing that breaks me most is, you never got to say goodbye. We were supposed to have more time. One more talk, one more fight, one more awkward silence before we said the things we never could. But time, it didn't ask us. It just took. And I know what you've been doing. You've been playing our last conversation in your head on repeat. Trying to hear what I didn't say. Trying to read between silences. Like maybe the quiet was a clue. You lie in bed staring at the ceiling. You go back to that day over and over. Was I distant? Did I seem off? Did I hesitate? You remember the way I looked at you, like I had something to say but didn't. I didn't say it. I couldn't. Not because you weren't worth it, but because I didn't know how. And now you're here. Left with all this space. Left with my absence stretched across your days like static. This isn't a message from death. I'm not some ghost floating behind you. I'm not in the walls or in the dreams that wake you up at 3 a.m. This is something else. Something between memory and whatever comes after. A voice suspended. Not alive. Not gone. Just stuck in everything we left unsaid. Do you feel that? That stillness when everything else goes quiet? That second where the world pauses before a storm? That's where I live now. In that pause. In that breath you hold when you think of me. In that question you never ask out loud. I live in the echo. In the space where we were supposed to speak, but never did. And I don't know if this makes anything better. But if you've carried this weight, if you've ever felt like my story ended without your closure, this is me trying to give you that. Because before we go anywhere else, before I tell you everything I never got to say, we have to sit in this silence together. Just for a moment. Or you've been carrying it, haven't you? That heavy, invisible thing that tightens your chest when the world gets too quiet. That guilt. That question you whisper when no one's around. Could I have done something? I know you've asked it. Over and over again. In the shower. In the car. At 2:37 a.m. When your body's exhausted but your mind won't shut up. You rewind time in your head. You play the last messages. Replay the last call. You examine my voice like an autopsy. Looking for the pause that meant I was slipping. The sigh that meant I was tired. The silence that meant help me. But I need you to hear me. There was no code to crack, no missed signal, no perfect sentence that would have saved me. I wasn't waiting for you to rescue me. I wasn't testing you. I was just lost. And I know that hurts more. Because if it wasn't your fault, then there's nothing you can fix. No redemption arc. No ending where you say the right thing and I stay. But maybe that's what you need to grieve. To realize that some things were never yours to carry. You didn't fail me. You never did. You showed up. You loved me when I didn't know how to love myself. You reached out even when I pulled away. You waited in the quiet when I went dark. And that mattered. More than I ever let on. I was so used to pain that I couldn't believe your love was real. So I kept breaking myself against it. Hoping maybe it would prove me wrong. But that wasn't your job. It was never meant to be your fight. You were a lighthouse. I was the one who turned back to the storm. So please, stop punishing yourself for the choices I made. My silence is not your sin. My ending is not your failure. I know you wish I had said this sooner. That I had left a note, or a voicemail, or something to help you breathe again. But this is what I have now, this moment. This voice between worlds, and I'm using it to tell you, let go. Let go of the lies your grief has told you. Let go of the weight that was never yours to bear. Let go of me, not out of forgetting, but out of forgiveness, because you deserve peace, not as a reward, but as a right. I forgive you for everything you think you missed, for everything you wish you'd said. And now, I hope you'll forgive yourself too. You think I'm gone, and in many ways, I am. You can't touch me. You can't call me. You can't hear my laugh filling a room I no longer stand in, but I still see you. Not in the creepy ghost story way, but in the quiet, in the realest places where pain lives. I see you in your loneliness, when you're surrounded by people but still feel like no one hears you. I see the way your fingers hover over my name in your phone. I see the way you open our old messages just to remember what my voice sounded like when life wasn't this heavy. I see the way you flinch at kindness because a part of you still doesn't feel like you deserve it since the day I left. And I know what you're carrying. It's not just grief, it's guilt. That aching, sharp kind that creeps into your thoughts when you try to sleep. The kind that whispers, maybe I should have seen it. Maybe I could have stopped it. But here's the truth. You couldn't, not because you weren't enough, but because I had already started disappearing on the inside, long before you noticed anything on the outside. And yet you stayed. You loved me when I was hard to love. You held space for me even when I gave you silence in return. And I know that wasn't fair, but I need you to know it mattered. Your presence, your love, your trying, it all mattered. You think you failed me, but I promise you this. You were one of the only things that made me feel real when everything else felt fake. So stop punishing yourself. I don't want to be the reason you can't breathe fully anymore. I don't want my absence to be louder than my love ever was. I forgive you for all the things you think you did wrong, for the things you didn't say, for not saving me when I never gave you the chance to. Now, please, forgive yourself. You've bled enough over wounds that weren't yours to begin with. And I know you think holding on to the pain keeps me close, but it doesn't. It just keeps you from healing. I don't want to live in your sorrow. I want to live in your courage. I want to echo in your strength, in your decision to get up again tomorrow, even when it hurts. Because that's when I see you clearest, not in your grief, but in your choosing to live anyway. And that's all I ever wanted for you. This wasn't the end. It wasn't the final chapter, just the one where I stopped writing and you kept going. I know it doesn't feel fair. I left, suddenly, without warning, without explanation, without giving you the chance to hold my hand one more time or to scream at me or to beg me to stay. I left a hole, and you've been trying to patch it with questions ever since. But some stories don't have clean endings. Some goodbyes don't come with closure, and some people just leave with the weight of things they never had the words to explain. I was one of them. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my silence was louder than any I love you I ever said. I'm sorry that I didn't stay long enough to see how strong you really are. I'm sorry I didn't get to watch you become who you are right now, someone who's still standing, even when it hurts. But maybe this is the part that matters most. You didn't stop with me. You didn't let the world turn to black after I left. You didn't fall into the same darkness that swallowed me whole. Even when you wanted to, even when it called your name like a familiar lullaby, you stayed. You woke up, you breathed, you hurt, but you kept going. And that is what love really is. Not the kind that saves people, but the kind that remembers them, carries them, lets their story echo without letting it define the rest of yours. So if you ever wonder what I would have said if I'd had one more breath, one more minute, one last chance to speak, it would be this. Thank you. Thank you for loving me through everything I couldn't explain. Thank you for surviving what tried to break you. Thank you for continuing when I couldn't. And if nothing else, remember this. You didn't fail me. You saved me. In more ways than I ever had the words for. Now save yourself. Not just for me, but because your story still matters. It's still being written. And I want to see where it goes, even if I'm just a whisper in the silence between your steps. Even if you never hear me again, I'm still with you, just in a different way, always.